Hey guys, how are you? Real quick, I've got a update for you. So I was just live and I mentioned Irv Gotti Murder Inc. Is in the middle of a lawsuit. It was just filed recently with a lawsuit out of Miami. It is specifically the 11th Judicial District. For Miami-Dade County, Florida. Let's get into it real quick. So, I've got this pulled up so you guys can see. Here's the case numbers, everything. Um, Judge Butchko, Beatrice Butchko, and it's Jane Doe versus Irving Lorenzo, aka Irv Gotti. And let's get into the complaint real quick. Okay. This was filed on July 11th, 2024, in the Circuit Court of the 11th Judicial Circuit in and for Miami-Dade, Florida. So it is Jane Doe versus Irv Gotti. So another record executive, being called to account. Let's get into it. Plaintiff Jane Doe, by and through her undersigned counsel, hereby states her complaint against defendant Irving Domingo Lorenzo, aka Irv Gotti, for sexual assault and rape based upon personal knowledge and information and belief. Parties. Plaintiff Jane Doe is an individual who was during the relevant time period a resident of Florida. Upon information and belief, defendant Irving Domingo Lorenzo, aka Irv Gotti, is an American DJ, music producer, record executive, and CEO co founder of Murder Inc. Records. Jurisdiction and venue. The court has jurisdiction because of the amount of controversy exceeds the judicial limits of all lower courts that may otherwise have jurisdiction, not counting interests and costs. Venue is proper, and the Circuit Court of the 7th Judicial Circuit in and for Miami-Dade, Florida, because a substantial portion of the conduct underlying this complaint occurred in this county. Statement of facts. Plaintiff met Irv Gotti, a mutual friend, at a poke with a plaintiff met Irv Gotti through a mutual friend at a poker tournament in the summer of 2020. Irv Gotti invited plaintiff to go on vacation with him in St. Martin, to which she agreed. After flying her to St. Martin, Irv Gotti coerced plaintiff into having sex with him. Gotti specifically threatened plaintiff that he would send her home if she did not comply with his demands. Accordingly, and due to his power and influence in the music world, she complied. Following the trip to St. Martin, Irv Gotti and plaintiff entered into a relationship where, for 2 years, plaintiff suffered constant abuse at Gotti's hands. During this abusive relationship, Gotti demanded that the plaintiff perform unwanted sexual acts and often berated and scolded her. Notably, January 2022, Gotti flew plaintiff out to Miami, where flew the plaintiff out to Miami, and the two stayed at the Four Seasons Hotel. There, Gotti forced her to perform oral sex on him in an elevator. Later in the summer of the same year, he flew her out to Atlanta, and he again forced her to perform oral sex on him in an Uber. Following this event, the relationship ended. As a result of this sexually abusive relationship, plaintiff has suffered severe emotional, psychological harm, for which she had to be committed to a psychiatric ward. These injuries continue and affect the plaintiff to this day. Moreover, plaintiff has been made aware that Gotti is slandering her to his vast social network in and around Los Angeles. As a result, and in addition to the severe emotional distress described above, plaintiff now fears leaving her home. Plaintiff realleges and incorporates the preceding paragraphs 1 through 15 as if fully set forth herein. Defendant sexually offensive actions were conduct in his individual capacity and intended to cause a harm or offensive contact with plaintiff. A harmful, offensive, unprivileged, unpermitted contact with the plaintiff actually occurred as a result of defendant's intent. The acts perpetuated by the defendant against the plaintiff were against the plaintiff's will. As a result of the egregious sexual conduct perpetrated by the defendant against the plaintiff, plaintiff has experienced and will continue to experience severe emotional anguish, pain, and suffering and loss of dignity damages. Plaintiff accordingly demands attorney's fees and costs and compensatory damages in an amount to be determined at trial. Claim 2, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Plaintiff realleges and incorporates the preceding paragraphs 1 through 20 as if fully set forth herein. The aforementioned sexual assault and battery of the plaintiff was intentional. Defendant's intentional actions and inaction set forth above caused severe and debilitating emotional distress to the plaintiff. Plaintiff's conduct was malicious, wanton, and willful. Plaintiff seeks compensatory damages in and around to be determined at trial and an award of attorney's fees, costs, and disbursements. As a direct and proximate result of defendant's intentional acts, plaintiff suffered temporary and permanent injuries and endured significant pain and suffering of both mind and body and will continue to endure such pain and suffering in the future as incurred medical expenses in an undetermined amount and will continue to incur medical expenses in the future, has suffered damages for the lost enjoyment of life and lost the ability to perform usual activities, resulting in a diminished quality of life and loss of enjoyment of life. Jury trial demand. Plaintiff hereby demands trial by jury of all triable issues. Prayer for relief. Plaintiff requests the following relief for the violations set forth in this complaint. Compensatory damages, including those for mental anguish, in the amount to be proven at trial that exceeds the jurisdictional limits of all lower courts that may otherwise have jurisdiction, and imposition of penalties available under applicable laws, litigation costs, expenses, including attorney's fees, and any other relief that the court deems just and proper. And that is signed by her attorney, Adriana Acalde. Look, this is the deal. People have little to no. There are executives, there are powerful people who have imposed themselves on women, and these women now are seeking out damages. So this is just another lawsuit that has been filed against another executive. This is not the first time, I believe, that we've heard allegations against Irv Gotti. I almost want to say that I believe Irv Gotti is married and has been married for quite some time. So I'm not really sure what the effect of this will be on his marriage. You guys comment down below. Are you shocked hearing this? This was filed last week. This was filed on the 11th, which was Thursday, at 2 in the afternoon. So you guys let me know down below what you're thinking. Are you surprised to hear another record executive is being called to account for another inappropriate sexual relationship? Are you calling, this is pretty recent too. So anyway, yeah, we'll keep our eye on this and talk about this further. You guys let me know what you think. If you want to read this for yourself, I'll have it posted in my Patreon group. Thanks for coming through. Make sure to hit the like button for me, and I will see you again next time. Bye, guys.